Hello, this is Faris Alhajri speaking with you. I'm just going to cover this topic about hydrogen and the other essential elements of life that can change your life towards fixing the free radical cells damage, and which is actually the radical cells damage are the main cause of most of the chronic diseases and also oxidation of the cells. Let me explain here. We know that human has the capability to heal himself. The body has his own mechanism to fix itself. Like the white blood cells, they grab any infection, any foreign invaders to the body and they get rid of them. Like the liver detoxify the body from any toxic that enter the body, and so on. So, but what happens is that the body, when the immune system gets weak, cannot anymore fight. So, is the time that you become infected with a disease or any infection. Let's find out that actually we believe that the human has the ability to live longer. And when we hear the news about somebody die, we know that death is irrevocable. But when people die at early age, usually the reason is because the number of cells that die, apoptosis, are more than the number of cells that reproduce. We know that human being is made up of 100 trillion cells. And the moment the human, when he's formed in the womb of his mother, it starts with just one cell, you can imagine, and then it grows exponentially. By the time the baby is born, is composed of approximately 50 to 70 trillion cells. By the time when you are reaching an age of maturity, so adult, you're composed of approximately 100 trillion cells. And we know that every single day our body reproduces between 50 to 70 billion cells, and the same number of cells die, which is called apoptosis. That means between 50 and 70 billion cells die every day. So the body needs to reproduce new cells that will compensate the dead cells. But what happened when somebody dies is because all the cells completely are dead. So the body failed to reproduce new cells. So what happened is that when the cell is oxidized, we know that inside the cell, every single cell also is composed of approximately 100 trillion atoms. And inside the atom, we know that there is a pair of electrons and neutrons and protons. So neutrons is just neutral. So the pair of electrons and the protons, actually they are come together. And when that cell become oxidized, that usually happens due to getting sick, an infection, disease. Also, another reason could be from the metabolism that result from a lot of toxic that result during metabolism. So what happens is that the cells, when the cell is becoming oxidized, is the reason, because then what happens to the cell? Become oxidized. So what happened with the hydrogen? The hydrogen donates an electron to prevent the radical cells damage. That's very impressive. Albert Szent-Györgyi, the discoverer of vitamin C, the Greek-American-Hungarian biochemist who received the Nobel Prize. Actually, he did extensive research about the human being and hydrogen presence in his body called the hydrogen pools, where he found that the largest of that is in the liver, and followed by the heart, intestine, the kidneys, and the spleen. But what happened is that he found that as we grow older, we lose hydrogen. So that's he called hydrogen depletion. Now, why do we lose hydrogen, and where did human get the hydrogen in his body? In our research, we found that during the fetal growth is a time that the baby get the hydrogen completely in his body. The reason is during the amniotic fluid that is in the body, or the amniotic sac of the mother, and that amniotic sac actually is hot water. So what we found in the hot water is because it provides that cycle of providing the 4 essential elements of life, namely water, hydrogen, oxygen, and energy. So that's very important about the hydrogen. So what happens is that when the baby is born, then there's no more hydrogen to be compensated compared to the hydrogen that is being depleted. So in our research, we found that the only way to maintain the hydrogen presence in the body is through the hot water therapy. And so we can prevent many diseases, and we can prevent also deterioration of our health. And being healthy is not just merely absence of disease as proclaimed by the World Health Organization. Actually, being healthy is possessing all the 4 aspects of life: physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. So what makes a human being affected with any of these health aspects is due to the depletion of the hydrogen, which is one of the essential elements of life. But we need of that because in our research we found that the only way to maintain hydrogen presence in your body is through the hot water therapy, abiding the therapeutic methods of drinking hot water and other modalities. Then you can maintain the hydrogen presence. With this, we believe that human can live longer, healthy in all aspects. So when we hear somebody die early, it's because that the number of cells that die have reached to the maximum that the body failed to produce new cells. And that is the reason, because of the lack of hydrogen in our body. So maintain your hydrogen in your body and just maintain the therapeutic methods of drinking hot water, including the other methods of modalities of hot water therapy. Just a glimpse of this importance of hydrogen in our body, as hydrogen has been proclaimed to be the most powerful antioxidant. Thank you. Have a good day.